It is no longer news to say that when our governor came on board in 2019, of course, for somebody who wants to be in the saddle, would have actually done your own work, and he met on ground. The first thing in the education sessions. And when you declare emergency, what it means is that it's going to be business unusual, not business as usual. You see, for those of us who are old enough to remember those days when military usually take over, when they take over government, the first thing to do is to suspend the constitution. They will suspend the constitution of Nigeria so that everything they will be doing, because those things will definitely be things that will not follow the constitution, for them to achieve what they want. They will start doing those things that are right, those that are not right, so nobody will be able to challenge them. So when you declare emergency in the education sector, when our government declared emergency, we declare emergency so that whatever is necessary for you to achieve the goal in education, there will be no interferences for him to do that. So he didn't just declare it by word of mouth. He went ahead to put his money where his mouth is. You see, the first thing you will see going around all over the state is for you to see dilapidated buildings, laboratories without equipment, inadequate tables and chairs, talking about learners sitting on the floor. And like I told the press sometimes when they said they saw pictures of some learners sitting on the floor, probably it means the governor has not done anything. I said it is this government that is taking them off from the floor. They've been sitting on the floor before it came. So when we started producing furniture, and because of that, more and more of them no longer sit on the floor. And for us, there will be no learner that will sit on the floor, even by the end of the tenure of this administration. And that's why we are very, very methodical, systematic in our approach to solve the problem. We have invested heavily on infrastructure, human capital development, and curriculum development, and all other streams of the education sector. Part of our direct intervention as a result of the emergency was the immediate directive at that time that outstanding promotions of teachers for 2016, 2017, and even 2018 and 19 up to 2020 should immediately be resolved. And as we speak now, efforts are going on compiling the list of our teaching and non-teaching staff eligible for 2021 and 2022 promotion exercise. You will remember that the emergency in the education sector also led to what we now in the state call the Yellow Roof Revolution. The revolution is still going on. To date, we have rebuilt, rehabilitated, reconstructed over 960 classrooms and provided furniture to classes. You see, in the area of Yellow Roof, some structures were built from scratch, some were rehabilitated. So you find some classrooms maybe they have been abandoned for years because there is lack of roof. So in such a case, provide the roof and then also do the rehabilitation of such buildings. In some schools where there is inadequate classrooms, they will build from scratch. And this effort, like I said, is a continuous effort and will continue to identify. As we speak now, we have compiled a list of all schools that need intervention. And by before the end of this, because this media chart, I've actually broken it into about 3 parts. I'll talk generally about some of the things we have done. I'll then come to some specifics. Then I will highlight our gains in the area of digital integration into education. And then I'm going to talk about our success story in the basic education certificate examination, which we have just completed. So, buildings, like I said, we have done over 960, and we have supplied over 25,000 tables and chairs to reduce and cushion the effect of acute shortage of furniture in our schools. We have also upgraded and recategorized our schools. This has brought a new initiative in Ogun State, which we call the Flagship School Initiative. I need to elaborate a bit on this. In some states, you find them talking about model colleges and so on and so forth, and then, trying to bring out some schools that can say, okay, these are our models, these are outstanding schools and so on. But the initiative of President Abiodun MFR is the Flagship School Initiative. What are we trying to do here? We are not building model colleges from scratch, but we want to turn our colleges into models. So where we are going is that all the 511 secondary schools in the state were eventually turned into models for all schools in Nigeria. So right now we have 42 of those schools because we have to go in phases. If we want to solve the problems in our education sector, we cannot solve for all the schools as a go. So we have started with the first phase of having 42 models, which we call the 42 flagship schools. These 42 flagship schools are distributed all over the 4 divisions of the state. And to enter flagship school, there is usually screening test. I will elaborate a bit on the flagship school screening test when we talk about our digital initiatives. Those schools are, if you like, they will be our tier 1 schools or beginning schools or model schools or schools that are outstanding. And we have started systematically working on these flagship schools with the standard of candidates to enter the school, with the quality of teachers in the school, and also in terms of quantity, also with the quality of heads in those schools, talking about principals, with the working on the environment, horticulture, that is something that we are doing systematically, and then decongesting population in those schools. It's no longer news that because of large population and the love for education in the whole of Southwest in particular, you find situations whereby classes are overcrowded. And for us in Ogun State, the congestion of classrooms is one of our goals. And to do that, we have started with the flagship schools. And if you go to our flagship schools now, we started this initiative last year with GS1. So this year, we now have GS1 and GS2. If you go to any of those schools, there is no classroom in our flagship school, GS1 and GS2, that you will find more than 60 pupils in the class. So that is something that we can boast about, that we have started the radical decongesting of classrooms and then reduction of population. Bringing overpopulation to become a thing of the past in the state. You will ask me how are we going to do this? But because we are very systematic about it, we have given ourselves a 6-year plan. 6-year plan because if you really want to be realistic, you just have to do that. In other words, except you want to start this year and then build more classrooms in all schools and also establish more schools, you cannot achieve that decongestion in 1 year. If I give you an example to just elaborate what I'm saying, if you have 2,000 students in the school and they have maybe 10 classrooms, now that means you'll be having 100 in each class. Okay? Now you have 2,000 students, you have 100, you have 20 classrooms. That will be 100 in each class. and want to make them 60, then where will you put the remaining? Because you only have 60 times 20, which is 1,200. Where are you going to put the 800? So unless you build more classrooms in that particular school to accommodate the 800, and rate of 66, that will give you about 7, 8 classes. Or you establish another school that will have at least 8 classes. That's just to illustrate what I'm saying. So we cannot deceive ourselves that there will be adequate funds to do that within 1 year. But we give ourselves this 6-year plan. As we are doing in the flagship schools, we are already working on how to have more classrooms, not only in the flagship schools. In fact, for the flagship schools, we may not even need more classrooms because we are already decongesting based on what we call the carrying capacity. So we are working on getting more buildings in other schools, refurbishing also even in flagship schools, and then thinking of possibility of establishing more schools. Because there are areas where, because of development now, people who are not living in those areas before, they are now living there. They need to establish schools for them so that children will not be walking so many kilometers before they get to school. We have proposals that we are taking, and then we are also working out systematic approach towards taking over of community schools. Now, with the flagship school initiative now, it's no longer going to be 6 years. For us, it's now going to be 4 years. In 4 years' time, because the second year is here, in 4 years' time, you have a situation whereby in all the flagship schools, the population will have totally congested. In fact, where we are going is a population of maximum of 40 per class. Because that is the idea, 35 to 40 to a class, to a teacher. That is the idea. That is where the teacher will be able to do his work with comfort, give assignments, and mark, and go around to sit to them when he's teaching them. So we started with that particular initiative, and the flagship schools now have also started grooming their mentors, and then we are already seeing results in this. So I will elaborate on the process of getting to flagship schools later. Now we have also embarked on training and retraining, even including overseas training for teachers, head teachers, principals, and administrators. I know if you are a principal or a teacher that you have not gone overseas training, you look at me that what commissioner is saying, but it is true. Maybe it is not yet your turn. So start singing a Milocon. So you sing to Milocon to get your job. Now, the principals of our technical colleges, all of them, they have just returned from Germany. That is an initiative in collaboration with EIT, because we collaborate with the private sector. I know that some of our principals were also supported to travel abroad. Was it Dubai? Sometimes, yes. And apart from this, the local trainings, particularly through the various bodies, recognized bodies. You know, in the area of capacity building, and that's why we have a policy under this administration that all our bodies, academic bodies, professional academic bodies, subject associations. Just last week we held the Mathematical Association of Nigeria conference, and they were heavily supported by government. In fact, they spoke that they have never seen that type of post since the existence of that association. They surpassed their expectations because the support of the government was massive. And you remember that at the professional level for administrators, our principals in the Southwest, there was massive support for them. At the conference they held maybe about the month of August 3rd, I think. And the icing of the cake was the promise made, which was then kept by giving handcuffs the boss, brand new Tiara option to soon get their own because I want to come. Even the training that I said were given to technical teachers, especially principals of technical colleges. 11 teachers of our technical colleges also were in Germany for 1 month. 1 month. very soon it will be the turn of administrators to go to jam. I think it's in November. So I want to come back. I'm saying this because if we don't say this now, nobody will know when to do this. It is a policy in the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology that whenever any subject teacher association is having any program, we should give them support. Not only morally, also financially. No matter how small, it is a policy. It is also a policy under this administration that our students, our learners in public schools are supported to participate in competition. So what people say is, they will tell you a particular competition was held and maybe the state came first. When people now come around to see the students to celebrate them, you now see this one from the Siriu Secondary School, this one from primary school, this one from private schools only know. Why I don't have any problem about private school. It is important for us to have both private and public. And to be celebrating some of our private schools, we should be celebrating our public schools. And like I make that, I joke with some people. I said, when we always have only private schools winning awards, as commissioner, when they come and I see, but I always think that my case is like a man that maybe his brothers and sisters or family will bring their children to him to help him to bring them up, and his own children are also there. Then they go to school. After exam, they say prize giving day, go there. All the children of your brothers and sisters and family, they will get awards. Your children will not be there. So I'm sure now look at it now. Okay, what better for us today? So the joy will be full. Why will you be happy that those children that you brought up are doing well? Your joy will be full, or you will like stay full heart. If those ones do well and your own are also part of it, even if your own you don't do it, you won't be happy. You want it. People say, "Ah, why you don't do it?" The joy will be full when you have. So for me as a commissioner, I'm always happy when I see, okay, 4 people are marked. One from Methodist Comprehensive College, one from Ambassador College, okay, another one from Duty, another one from Afro. I'm always happy. Not going to say first Afro, second first Ambassador, second one fifth one so that has started affecting performance. And I'm also going to mention it when I talk about the jazz competition, because the overall, the person that actually came out overall happens to come from one of our flagship schools, African Church Schools. Our governor came on board and resuscitated the offices and went ahead to appoint principals general and educators general. This is something that is strong. We have also improved the conduct of basic education certificate examination through the use of personalized OMR sheets. When I just mentioned this, people may not know the import of what I said. When we say personalized OMR sheet, what it means is that sitting down here, we produce an OMR sheet, that's an answer sheet for objective question that the learner will use in the MECO without knowing the learner and his name and number and everything is already on that particular answer sheet. So it gets to the MECO, they give the one for Baniconda to Baniconda, the one for the and so on and so forth. You know, just give to everybody with their names and numbers already printed on it. You can imagine doing that for all learners in the state. We have set up a vibrant examination processing unit which now efficiently handles the entire examination procedure throughout the state with the aid of appropriate technology integration. That unit, if we have time after this briefing, I'll just take the press men to see what we have done. We have not started anything, but we just see that something is cooking. And it is from that particular unit that we produce all the answer booklets that were used for examination throughout the state, over 2 million. That is the first time that will happen in the history of this state and in the history of any state ministry of education in Nigeria. That examination processing unit is now on the verge of even being commercialized because the SSD came and saw it and said, you people should be producing for outside people who want to use your services. That's where we are going. And he gave us the go ahead to take over the entire floor. Because where we are, this place is too small for you and it is too small for us. And we have just started. Well, apart from this, for our principals and for us, we are not yet satisfied about this. But I know that when this tradition came on board, because of the need to improve access to education, there was cancellation of all forms of levies in the school. You might say that how much is 3,700, how much is 1,000? You will be surprised that there are parents who, because of 1,000, cannot bring their children to school. And they will just put something on, one tray on their head, or the other. So, this administration cancelled all forms of levies to improve access to education. And because some of these levies are what is used in schools to support administration, we went ahead to introduce running costs. Initially, it was just 30,000, 50,000. Little on, we improved it, and we did 120% increase in that running cost within 1.5 years. So that principals and their teachers can at least have more funds that will be used to run the schools. It is not yet woo. It's not yet up to the point we want, but it is better than where it was. Like some people say, I thought about. So, also, there is something happening. There is a particular organization called Teach for Nigeria in this country. Well, it's all over. We have Teach for Nigeria, Teach for South Africa, Teach for Sierra Leone, and so on. We are the greatest partner. Ogun State is the greatest partner of Teach for Nigeria. In fact, they actually mentioned it. The CEO spoke with me Teach for yesterday and said when they give neighboring state 60 grand, they say, you are making it. Because Ogun State didn't take everything, they wanted to take everything. Out of the 200, with 200 and you are getting this. That Ogun State has always been there. The first step we took was 100 fellows of Teach for Nigeria. After that, we are taking another 100. Even on our Teach program, we also give them opportunity to key into the program, and all of us, and I'm sure that those of you that are principals, educators, and so on, can attest to it, that those Teach for Nigeria fellows are actually doing wonders. They are cooperating with us. So we have integrated, well, we say 100 fellows, that is the latest one. We have integrated some before doing this one. Remember also during the lockdown, Ogun State was the first state to respond to that challenge through the introduction of the Ogundigi class to facilitate teaching and learning in our schools. Well, we have also given 50% increase in feeding allowance for our special learners in the special needs schools. You see, these learners, to encourage them to be in school, because most parents are like, want to bring them to school, this and that. We have to look for ways to encourage them. So they are fed, give them breakfast, lunch, and dinner for those who are in the hostels, those who are the students, breakfast and lunch. You see, immediately we looked at it and said, this is not enough, looking at the economic situation. And because of that, there was 50% increase in the feeding allowance to them. And because we also don't want to leave them behind, in the area of rehabilitation of schools, if you go to all the 5 special needs schools in Ogun State, we have rehabilitated all the classrooms in special needs schools. In fact, we rehabilitated it to the extent that we also have what we call yellow roof toilets. Yes. All of them have yellow roof toilets now. And in particular in Ijebu-Ode, I don't know how many of us are familiar with the word Ijebu-Ode. It is actually at the entrance. I mean, at the entrance of the school is very close to the road. You just get to the gate like this, you are already on the road. Then there is also a roundabout there. So dangerous for these special learners who will still try to assist to move around, to just get out of the zone, and that will cause casualties. So we had to reform model that rate such that we gave it a bit of allowance, enough for a child that is coming out to have area to play around and maneuver in front of the school before even getting to the road. So you see that in the body. So because we go around and we see that once there is a problem, we tackle it. And we have encouraged private people, referendums and so on. Because like in the body there is like this and also did some things there. In all the others, we're giving them more beddings, phones, and so on like that to make them comfortable. The Teach for Nigeria, I just reminded me, part of what the Teach for Nigeria did for us was that we also used them to train over 2,000 of our public school teachers. Because the type of thing we see with the teachers they have, we want it to actually spread, and that's why we have collaborated with them in that area. So, also still on our special needs learners, we have done 3 interventions now on distribution of wheelchairs and white cane. White cane is that the visually impaired use to move about. So we have done 3 interventions. So to date we have distributed over 100 wheelchairs to these learners, and we have also distributed white canes to the learners to aid them. Also, as part of what this administration has done is the approval for the Ogun State Education Intervention Fund. If you like, another name for it is what we call the Ogun State Trust Fund. The only reason why it has not been officially launched now is because we are trying to fix the appropriate time for that program to come up, and that launch will come up very soon. We also, as part of the emergency I mentioned about, I mentioned at the beginning, emergency led to rehabilitation of schools, it led to welfare of teachers, and way of promotion and so on. It also led to recruitment of teachers. And after more than 10 years in this state, this administration for the first time, after 10 years, approved the employment of 5,000 teachers. We call them Ogun Teach teachers. Through what we call the Ogun State Teacher Acquisition Channel, Ogun State Teaching Experience Acquisition Channel, Ogun Teach. So, out of 5,000, we are taking 2,000. We are starting another 1,000 because the government has given an approval for us. Our goal is to get all 5,000. Because every day teachers are dying, people are also dying due to natural causes. People are leaving for greener pastures, but there has not been any deliberate approach or attempt to replace these teachers. So this administration came on board, and we feel that the first thing as part of the emergency is to inject 5,000 teachers to the system. We have also repositioned what we call the Central Education Management Information System. I'm going to talk about teacher initiatives today, so I won't waste time with this. There is already on ground an approval by the government for the Agency for Mass Education as a stand-alone agency. This is something that will bring a lot of goodies for us when an agency eventually gets the bill is already ready. It has gone to the Ministry of Justice, has come back, it has gone to the governor. It's just for us to now fine-tune and take to the House of Assembly. We are going to be one of the few states that have a stand-alone agency for mass education. Well, we have also composed or constituted the library board in Ogun State. That is a board that has not been in existence in the past 25 years or even almost 30 years. So we saw that this is not ideal. Last week, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, that it was constituted along with the boards and governing councils in Washington. That board with that proposition are like, even before they are coming, some things were done by way of like I mentioned even at better. Then in particular also, the governor approved intervention to support our tertiary institutions. Annual intervention of 200 million. That is just to support whatever other initiatives that will come up, and also apart from the normal budgetary allocation. Because we are looking at the situation whereby there will be footprint of this administration in each of the institutions before the end of the administration. Then we have rehabilitated, and it's also ongoing, internal roads and access roads to our campus. If you see now, something is happening along the corridor of going to Seala and so on. And already the Agogo Mission Road is already getting, it's almost completed now. I mean, it's about 80% completed. And so on, also for internal roads of some of our institutions. We purchased buses for, not only for our schools. Part of it was that what led to what ANCOPS benefited from the buses that were purchased for the various schools. So our schools are also to benefit from this, particularly tertiary institutions. We reintroduced we introduced scholarships for outstanding. I don't know even call it reintroduction because I don't know when last, we have forgotten that it has happened before. So maybe we say we introduced now. But anyway, the introduction of award of scholarship for outstanding students, payment of course. For the scholarship, people will be wondering how is it working. How it's working is that all our tertiary institutions have been mandated to compile a list of their students that are on first class or distinction on an annual basis. So those ones in the university, we call them university scholars. The ones who polytechnic are polytechnic scholars, and the ones who college are college scholars. For as long as they maintain that distinction of first class status, they will continue to get scholarship. So they won't have to pay school fees. So that's the way to encourage brilliant ones to support them throughout the school. And for the indigent ones, I did mention that. I did say that one. For the indigent ones, those of them, they are not brilliant. They are also indigent. You know, that's what Bella will call them who had for the vote. Nobody is not brilliant, it's also indigent. So you cannot benefit from that type of scholarship. There is the window for them. The window is what we call the work study program. With the work study program, they will be in school. Then some of them will be allowed to work in the library for some hours, arrange books, or if they have a pure water factory to help to arrange this in the pure water factory. They have the farm to do some work there, the poultry farm, to work in the shoemaking, and so on and so forth. The various aspects of it. Some of them swimming, cleaning, and so on and so forth. They will just do it for a few hours, some 2 hours, 3 hours, based on when they have time. They will just give their timetable to the supervisors, and they work out something for them. On a monthly basis, they get a stipend. Not very big, but it will be enough to keep them going. So that one is also part of the initiative, work study program. And apart from the work study program, we have paid bursary to our students, to state students in all tertiary institutions in Ogun State. That is something that last happened maybe about 10 years ago. This administration also coming on board met the crisis in Moshood Abiola Polytechnic and National Education. And like I described to Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, that the case of that polytechnic was like somebody who had been packaged to be deported. They has already been taken to the airport. The plane to carry it was already on ground. It was already in the departure lounge. But just to get down and put it inside the plane for the plane to take off. Maybe it's even in the plane already. The plane was about to take off. But this action came on board and brought life to Moshood Abiola. Maybe it is the staff and students of the institution that will be able to clap more if they were here. Because this clap because you can imagine how many homes will be affected if that problem was not resolved. Today, Moshood Abiola Polytechnic and National College of Education in Ijebu, they are now very ill and happy. They are thriving. Though there are challenges, but we are solving them. I want to assure you that the academic activities in those schools remain on course without hindrance. I'm also happy to report that these interventions continue to yield positive results. The Ogun State contingent won 11 laurels at the 2020 GES competition. They made us proud in mathematics, sciences, GES competition, progress, and overall best performance within 2 years back to back. That is 2020 to 2021. In fact, we are the best state, and we have the overall best students for male and female performance. And Ogun State Public Secondary School student, I mentioned the other time, Bola Azim, won the second position in the 774 Young Nigeria Scientist Presidential Award. We call it Young 774 Young. So Bola Azim won second position. I was in Abuja to receive that award. That boy is from African Church Grammar School, and he was the one that also won the overall best position in the 2021 GES competition. That's 2022. Yes. 2022 GES competition. And that boy won 9 medals. He alone won 9 medals. And Ogun State won 18 out of the 24 available laurels. So we are ready to repeat the result of investment in education. And you know, money, yes, but I want to say that this is as a result of the efforts of our teachers, the commitment of our teachers, government, principals, you know, because you know, as a man, you give your wife money, it's little or nothing. They make something out of it. Our principals, with the little they have, they make something out of it. In fact, at times I look at them and say, how are they doing it? So we appreciate what they are doing. What it means is that we are committed to do more to encourage them. And definitely, once they are with better resources, definitely, and you can see, because maybe because there is sincerity of purpose, our teachers can also see, our principals can also see that we are making the best, we are trying our best despite the limited resources that is available to the state. One of our students, public schools, secondary schools in the state, this girl is from, I think it's from Yewa. This year, Akosi Aderonke broke the record of like 3 years. Like 3 years when she set a new national record at the school sports competition held in France, where she represented Nigeria. You see, I told you, if you don't tell these stories, nobody will know. Because when we say we are having this chat, people say, what do they want to say? But you can see that we have a lot to say. We are also elated that private individuals and organizations see our sincerity of purpose and have contributed and continue to partner with us as part of our Adopt the School model. So we want to put on record the contribution of Alailua, His Majesty, Oba Dr. Sikiru Kawede Adeton, Baba Tunde Ogaya, Paramount Ruler of Ebola, at Oladijo Obanjo University. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go to Oladijo Obanjo University and see the governance institute that is actually being sponsored by the Awele of Ebola. It's massive. It's over 500 billion investment. We need to do that. Also, we recognize and appreciate Alhaji Sulaiman Adebola Ademuwa at Tertiary University of Education on one hand, and at Otosa Comprehensive High School on another hand, and so many others. In fact, just about a month ago, he supplied another 500 tables and chairs to Otosa Comprehensive High School. Meanwhile, he has a computer, an ICT building that is second to none. There is no secondary school, private or public in Nigeria that has that type of ICT laboratory. You need to go there to see it. He didn't just donate it and walk away. He donated it and is maintaining it up to today. You find ICT experts, consultants, sitting there training these children, telling you they are the time table. When it is time to come in, and that's it, come and so on like that. That center is there now standing. Immediately you enter the school, you see it on the left. It's slowly building like that. He gave a whole campus to Tachula University of Education, a whole campus, the campus of Tachula University of Education. So we appreciate this individual. Another one is the alumni association. I just mentioned Moshood Abiola here. Not only Moshood Abiola, alumni association of most of our tertiary institutions, and even in secondary schools, they are doing a lot. The whole students associations are doing a lot. I can write a whole book on the contribution of both student associations to development of education. I want to mention is Mr. Akuman Ademosu. What he did at Omo Edumare, Model Nursery and Primary School in Agogo, is something that you open your mouth, you will not be able to close it when you get there. This is a young man, just about 40 in his 40s, and he came back. He said he went to that primary school. He graduated from the primary school in 1980 something or so, maybe 80 something or 90 something, and he said he wanted to. And by the time he remodeled that school, gentlemen, if they blindfold you and just take you to that school, if your eyes are not open, they blindfold you and just take you to that school and then remove the blindfold, you open it. You say, why did you tell me that you are bringing me to America? Because if you see that school, you will see that this is definitely not a school in Nigeria. In fact, during the commissioning, one of the community people sitting very close to where we were spoke in Yoruba and said, hey, the fact that my children was good, they don't know that this is beyond something that will be free. And it's actually still free. So that is part of partnership. So, Akumande Ademosu contributed to that at Omo Edumare Nursery and Primary School at Agogo. Another group is Beyond Repentance Group. Beyond Repentance Group has also started something at Shimawa High School. I was there maybe about 2 or 3 months ago. No, 2 months ago at the beginning of the vacation. So they started with vacation subjects, what they call summer school for the children. They provided learning materials for all of them in PPS 3 junior school, and I advised them that they should do the same thing at the senior school because those are the ones that will also do WAEC very soon so that they can see their results. So as they started with PS, they should also start with maybe SS1 so that in about 2 or 3 years time they will see the result in the performance and the Western School Certificate examination. So there are a number of other groups that are keen to adopt the school model of administration. Well, I also want to remind you that we successfully constituted the governing councils of our 2 universities, 6 polytechnics, and 1 college of education. The constitution of this council is a symbolic representation of our commitment to the continued development of the education sector. We have, I mentioned the library board, but if you visit Senior Adibo Library today, or Alhaji Salamatu Kuku Library in Yebodi, and even the boys library, that is, we call it the Ministry of Education Library and Resource Center. Because it is here, and we have built the pressmen opportunity to see that library. Unfortunately, they will not be able to see it before. They will only see the now of that library. But we can describe what it used to be. It was just like a jump room. You know jump room? Jump. That is where you put your any sort of thing. So I want the state education revitalization agenda to education in the state. Oxera made possible all the commissioners. We have curriculum, we have the Oxera is actually resting on those 6 pillars. Teacher and student welfare. What are we saying here? You cannot have your own separate curriculum. What we have done is to create the Oxera platform. That is the digital initiative in Nigeria. Apart from that person just asks the name and you can get the LI. And that LI is a lot of data. Even for private schools, because private schools at the beginning, not all of them. And I have to actually appreciate Dr. Olubide because it was actually labeled, some people saw it. So there was even no money to ask. I want to use name that they know in Nigeria when they say something look very well. The more I can give a whole press names of states and mention for example, state will not be there. That's where identity is known. It is difficult for you to do something that is wrong for people to happen. Either on the part of students or on that is the fact that now infrastructure is even being tapped to mention some of the things we have there. Let me just quickly also improve the revenue because there will be no leakages and repairs. How many tables and chairs do we have? How many teachers do I have in the school? And how many learners do I have? I'm able to use that to get teacher-student ratio. And I'm also to use that to know that, okay, if I have 100 learners, if the tables and chairs in the school are the two-seater one, I need minimum workshops. And encourage some of the students to take good work as part of the option. It's like buying one and getting one free. If we have good work as part of the subjects, the learners are able to study that subject and get credit in the subject. And if you look at it, most subjects that are actually hands-on, like good work and so that, as practical, people actually get it. Once you take it, you are always going to get a minimum of a credit. Because one of my children, the boy, studied home economics or something like that for food and nutrition. He's made A. And so that's the rest of the day gone. So now to do something, maybe you bring the material, you get another 10. That's it. So you are already having a credit even before you start doing it. So if they do good work, the fact that it is practical, you are almost sure that they will pass that subject. So P is no longer or D is no longer a potential. It's whether you now get credit or distinction. So on their own, if there is good work, you can encourage some of them to take it and you can have credit in it. That's one. Another one, let us encourage it as one of our lessons. We are supposed to take at least one thing subject. Let us make sure that it's one of the available three subjects which some of these students can take. The second thing is that they are also able to repair tables and chairs. You get to some schools, it's only one lane that learn. So if you are in classroom, you are rehabilitating classroom, you are taking care of the environment where students learn. At the same time, taking care of we have the central service, profile management, enrollment management, school management, classroom management, LMS, learning management system, unified examination management, resource social processing, school location mapping. We have time. And I think you can get that slide. Though, it's actually work with. I worked throughout nights to do something on this. This is something. This media client was supposed to start at 9 teachers. Know all our schools, and apart from that, we are through that. The natural permit that you that exam, the governor was just going around one day, and the teacher just went to this assembly ground. 22 basic examination. And I must say this before you go into that story, that you know that Becker is an examination that students do at the end of ES3. A lot of things that happened in the past. There are three locations when these learners will do the exam and the result will not come out even until they are about to go to SSU. And this is the result that is supposed to be used to strip these learners into classes in SS1. This is the first time this result will be ready before the commencement of. Now, I can confidently say that through the introduction of technology into the examination, we are able to process almost 2 million OMR sheets. But the exam ended on the 22nd of June. Today is 22nd of July. 22nd of June. Today is September 9th. And that's about 80 days. It has been ready because we chose that we don't tell story today. It is of two parts. We have the objective and we have the theory. Problem always emanates in the past from both the objectives and the theory, because the objective itself will also be manually marked. But we have actually buried manual mapping. In fact, we did that one immediately when I came on board. We did that one, no manual mapping. We introduced the OMR. And the objective questions, immediately after the examination, within a few days, we scanned all the OMR sheets and then we started processing them. The theory part is the one that will be marked by human beings. It's not as if there is no technology to mark that. But we don't want a situation whereby teachers will participate in teaching and they will not participate in evaluation. So teachers mark it. But we did what we call this assignment of mapping. We call it mapping. Yes. My executives, they know what we're talking about. But my executives, they are in it. They are coming up. They are coming up now. So they are becoming digitally aware. Though some of the problems that we see are because of keying into this thing properly. But with what I have seen, I'm so glad and I'm happy, and I can say that the future is very, very bright. The mapping was done. The essence of the mapping is that questions from Abeokuta Grammar School will not be marked in Abeokuta Grammar School. It will go to another local government, another school, and so on. So all these things were done digitally. It was done digitally using the electronic means, so we already know where it's going. And still talking about the electronic means, you see that placement into schools this year was also done digitally. There was no manual placement into schools. I will handle that with the flagship schools. But to say that the marking progressed, and then we went on to start marking, to also do what we call the CAS, that is the continuous assessment scores, marking them with the exam scores, marking the objectives and the theory together. It's a lot of work. But we have been able to use technology to reduce this work tremendously. And that is why today, after 18 days of finishing that exam, we can be telling this story. And I can tell you that it can only be better. As we speak now, we have a few outstanding results. It is not because of lack of capacity, but it's because, in keying into a new skill, you still have a few people that have some little things to grapple with. But we are supporting them. And I'm sure that those who have a few results outstanding, within the next 1 week or so, by the time school will be resuming the work, don't forget, some people thought it cannot work. And that's why they are actually, so now that they see that it is working, so they are now struggling to make sure that they are part of it. By the time with these results, because we already, as we speak now, I have a table here. Unfortunately, I don't think you have a table. You have been able to project it. I have percentage. For me, I can actually read it out. The percentage of planners, of results that are ready, local government by local government. This is the first time we are able to sit down here in the ministry and tell you what is happening in your in fact, we are able to tell the teacher and say, Mr. Bisiri, you are the one that have not concluded your. It has gone to that level and said who is delaying what. We know this. If you want to actually mention who has not submitted what, you can actually go ahead and do that. From the table I have with me, Abeokuta Grammar School, Abeokuta North Local Government, we have 82% completion of results. 82%. Private schools, we have 86%. Abeokuta South, we have 83%. Public, 98% private. Adodo, local government, we have public 59. So the ZDO is not here. So take note. Yes, take note. I don't do that. So 59% compliance, and we have 84% completion to private. That's good. In Yewa North, we have 66. That is not good enough. It's not a distinction. 66%, and we have 89% private. You see, it is possible for me to sit here and tell you what is happening because technology is being used to do all this. In Ewego, we have 71% public, 79% private. In we have 59%, that's not good enough, 94% private. Ijebu East we have 76% public, 89% private. Ijebu North we have 67% public, 91% private. In Ijebu North East we have 86% public, 64% private. Ijebu Ode we have 73% public, 88% private. In Kenya it's very bad, 91% public, but 67% private. In Ecuador also not too good. We have 54% public and then 95% private. For Ethiopia, very bad. We have 18% public and then 73% private. These percentages are mentioned is not the percentage of their performance. Not the percentage of completion of those. In Oguwata, in Obafemi Owode, we have 39% public. Zero. We have 89% public, 98% I'm not surprised. You don't see why I'm not surprised. Odo 40% public, 0%. And we're also able to distribute through technology. We are able to say, okay, for data we have 1,000, and we take 1,000 there because we know it's 1,000. We just put about 10 or so on it, but we know it's going to be enough for others. It's not a situation of blind shot where you just take 200 there, just take 2,000 there, and then you continue going up and down. So marking of streams have also been improved, and submission of scores. Computation of results, teachers just have to sit back, upload their results, and the Osera platform will do the computation and everything. So the release of results and certificates has also been enhanced. The key advantage of the cloud technology for use in PEPE is that there is better efficiency of the system, there is transparency in the examination process, there is accountability and the payment, there is reliable and valuable data for policy planning, monitoring and evaluation. And the ending of this brief, I want to educate people on our flagship training and the process. You see that according to the Universal Basic Education Law, all learners that in primary 6, they have to be placed in secondary schools. However, we have these 42 flagship schools that you will not just go to those schools unless you show interest in going to those schools. 42 of them. So those who are interested in going to those schools, we have to obtain forms. These forms are obtained online through the Osera platform. And when you obtain the form, you now come for screening. The invitation for screening is also done digitally online, and then learners get there through the OMR, they do the exam. The good thing about the screening test is that the result, we always have the result within 2-3 days. We have the result of the screening test immediately. So the results are ready as far as 2-3 days after the exam. And we then invited all principals to this room, and we asked questions from them. Abeokuta Grammar School, how many classrooms do you have? You tell us. You don't want more than 60 per class. So if you have 10 classrooms, that is 60 times 10, that is 600. So we say we are going to have 600. So we look at it, everybody in the hall, look at it together, we count the first 600. We draw the line. That is the cut-off point for Abeokuta Grammar School. That is what we did. That was how we did it. And we got the cut-off point. It was not something that I just sat somewhere and I said, this one should be 60, this one should be 54. It was based on carrying capacity and performance of learners. And on the this year's screening test, it should interest you to know that the highest mark was probably 97%. The highest mark was 97%. So the lowest mark was 0, not below 0. It was 0. But the point is, just to tell you that learners have opportunity to score as high as even 100% if possible. So the questions are not too tough and not too simple. So based on the carrying capacity in this school, we are able to determine. And when we ask you RSS, how many classrooms? If you say you have 8 classrooms, 60 times 8, this was 480. Do you have any repeater? If they say they have repeater. How many repeaters? 10. You deduct the 10 from 480, that gives us 470. And give you 470 learners, you add the repeaters to it, there will be no class that will be more than 66 students. That's what we have done. Transparent in front of everybody. People have asked me, help me to put a child in Abeokuta Grammar School. Help me to put a child in Abeokuta Grammar School. Help me to put a child in Abeokuta Grammar School. It's called 58. The cut-off point is 59. I said even if it is 58.9, you cannot enter. That I cannot even help myself to put a child in any school if that child doesn't have the cut-off point. If I cannot help myself, how would I help others? That is what we talk about when we talk about transparency. For us to achieve results, all of us must be into it. That's why as ZDOs, as directors in the ministry, as special advisors, chairmen, colleagues, and that's one thing I have enjoyed in the education sector. With my colleagues in the education sector, we have not spent anything. Even for we teach, it was done digitally. And we all sat down, we decided how many people we want, we were able to get cut-off points, and then we ruled. People have accused us. But my child scored 80, and he was not given an appointment. But you are giving somebody that has 60. I told them, somebody can have 280 to read medicine in the university. They will not give him admission. But somebody who scored 200, they will give him admission because they want to read you. So it depends on how many people are applying to that particular one. So there are so many factors that people don't know what they are doing. There are so many things that people don't mention, and that's why some of these things were explained. And I want to put it on record that our governor has been very, very marvelous. Because it's not the governor that will intervene and say, go and do our standard. Our governor will say, make sure you follow the what? The standard. And he has never given his one note to say, give this one, or bend this route, or this person did not collect form, give him admission. No, no. So, and that's why the work has been very, very easy for us. I want to also appreciate that. So, for the flagship schools, we have made provision for you. If the cutoff point for Abeokuta Grammar School is 59, and your word scores 50, there are other schools with cutoff points below 59. So, that is also below the mark you have, 50. So, all schools that have cutoff points below 50, you just see they will be displayed for you. You see something, a person that will say change school. You just click on it. It will list all the schools that are available and you can then choose any one of them. But if you are time that think that I was targeted at Abeokuta Grammar School, as you are going around, the schools will be reducing. It will be reducing. After some time, you have to I don't want to mention any school so that you go to a school that you never even want to visit, not to talk of it. So this is the process. We have digitalized the entire process. We have made it easy. But this year we started placement also with technology. What we do in placement is to look at the child, the school you are going, and say, okay, the schools around that area, that's where we post you. If you are in St. John's, I mean, you put up, and then you want to go around that place, and you go to Victoria, and you know, we don't have a schools that are around that place. We put you there manually. Then this year, we ask the computer to do it for us. Computer will look at your school, your address, and look at what we call the catchment. The 5 schools that are in that particular site, and computer will put you there. So, and that's what we have done for all the schools. The placement will be released sometime next week, so that all our learners will be placed in schools even before the launch. The form for transfer into schools is out. Some people have come around, commissioner is not allowing transfer. No, there is transfer. People can go to transfer from one school to the other. You just collect the form for 5,000 naira and you do the transfer. Then you cannot transfer into flagship school. That's what is happening and we are saying. And I have no apology for that. And I have to explain. For you to enter Abeokuta Grammar School or African Grammar School or RSS or University Grammar School, there is a particular score you must obtain. Some people who did not obtain that score last year will now come this year and say they want to transfer their learners, their children to AS2 in those schools. That is coming from the backyard. 2 problems will happen. One, you will be bringing somebody who did not measure up to that standard to come and join that class. That's one. The second thing is, don't forget there was a carrying capacity. The number, we are congesting. If you allow now, that number will be going up. Before you know it, it can become 80, it can become 100. And meanwhile, we want you to be 60. After a period of 6 years, all the schools, all the learners in that school, you just multiply the number of classrooms by 60. And you know that this school, a school that has up to maybe 5,000 learners now, by the time we continue the way we are going, it may just come down to something like about 2,000. So, and that is that, so that we now take the others to somewhere else. So, it is when we make the classroom manageable for teachers and principals that we can then ask questions that, why have you not done well? Why are your learners not getting 100%? But when you give a teacher, a tiny teacher for instance, standing in front of 200 students, how she will be talking, they will hear. But when you have manageable class, good environment, support them with technology, give them all what they need, then you can ask them questions. That we are giving you all that you need. To whom one is giving what? So to whom nothing is given, nothing should be expected. Now we want to make sure that our teachers can actually do well. And when they do well and they have an environment where they can work, we will then look at them very well. We will honor you and then ask them. So that is where we can ask questions. So we have actually completed the process of Becker flagship schools, meaning transfer, relocation, and also the process of placement and so many others. We are also integrating, so we are integrating to examination, and the process is going on seamlessly. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been more than maybe 1.5 hours now, or almost 2 hours, of presenting the scorecard. I cannot say everything, and I'm sure that it's when people ask questions that they will remind me of things that I have not said. So, but it's enough to say that the administration of Prince Dapo Abiodun MFR is actually doing a lot in the education sector, and I say with this one we can only wish him well to continue doing this, and for us to even benefit more, especially if we are able to return him to come back and complete the work, the good work. Thank you very much.
As a union and as a state, that we have started and we are already growing, and they say the sky is the limit, but in our own state, I think the sky is the starting point. I want to appreciate you for all this presentation that you have made here today. I want to plead and make a request, and that is why I'm standing up in the respect of teachers of this state. You have said it in your presentations that all hands should be on deck, and if all hands are to be on deck, to achieve all these policies, all these strategies, all these plans, and all these efforts that are on the table, we need the effort of teachers. We need the effort of teachers. And when you look around, especially this year, we have so many of our teachers being retired. And there is no way, if our classrooms are empty, that we can get it right at this direction. So my request is this, sir. There will be need for more recruitment of teachers in this state for us to actualize all these our dreams. And while we are doing that, I could recall, sir, when His Excellency just came in, about 1,500 teachers were recruited, and all of a sudden, the program was scuttled, and they were stopped from being fully appointed into the system. I want to still believe that while you are finding means of relieving the teachers that are presently in our classrooms, that brought about the idea of Open Teach. The issue of Open Teach gives us that concern, especially as a union. If we are appointing teachers, we don't want casual teachers, casual appointments. I want to, on behalf of the state teachers and the union, plead and request that these teachers who have earlier been screened and are ready awaiting real appointment, the 1,500 teachers that were recruited, to be absorbed into the system fully. That is one. And the second one is that those Open Teach intern, the 5,000, the first phase has gone, the second phase is ongoing, the third phase is being on paper. We also want to please, if these teachers are not given permanent appointments, it will surely affect the outputs of their performances in our classrooms. Because we attach an Open Teach intern together with a permanent teacher in the same class, and both of them do the same work on the same at the same rate, and at the end of the month, one is taking home like 80, 70, while the other one is going home with about 30 or 40,000. Yes, I know, 30, 40. Those in the primary are given 30. I want you to be aware of that. And why those in the secondary are being given 40? Why? That those who go intern should also be made permanent. Why those who are being recruited without giving their letter of appointment should be revisited and be incorporated into the system. Thank you very much, sir.
There are two things that amaze me in the area of achievement you have able to us. The first one is the issue of approval of additional 1,000 teachers of these teachers, and at the same time, the information you gave us that the result of better results will be fully ready in the next 2 weeks. Because we are all aware that in the past, the result will not even be ready for students to access till the end of the first term. But this time around, the reverse took it. The result will be ready in a couple of weeks. We want to appreciate you for this. But as rightly said by the NUT chairman, we want to appeal to you, to the ministry. We have been doing this in the past. I remember last year when we have attack on schools by hoodlums on the instruction of parents. ASUS as a body to rush to TESCOM, and we told them we could not guarantee the safety of our members. Baba said he could not close down schools, we should go to the ministry. And we wrote to the ministry on the need to close down school after the terminal exam. But you said, gentlemen, is that the lasting solution? If you close down the school now, will not resume during the next term. Let us look for lasting solution for this. And part of the action you do then, put lasting solution to the problem of attack on the That is why I want to appeal to the ministry, to the government through you, sir. That this issue of NT teachers, it is a welcome development to us, most especially secondary school teachers, because we are mostly it. In the last 9 years, there were no employment and teaching service commission, but we came and brought this, and we need that even those that were appointed through this same process during government administration are now the senior officer in teaching. We are grateful that government has already approved additional 1,000. But we want to appeal to you. If really we want to get the best from these teachers, let us reduce the number of years they will be fully integrated into the system. Instead of 2 years, let us make it 1 year. So that this set of teachers will be able to discharge their ability to the best. And at the same time, sir, you table the area of achievement in the ministry. But we want you to note one thing. Teachers and drivers driving the vehicle of progress in the education sector. I want you to look more on the way to motivate these teachers. Teachers will do the best if they are motivated fully. Once again, I want to assure you the official support of ASUS and the best wishes of ASUS. We will continue to ensure that teaching and the education sector in the state is better than the way we went it. And pray for God guidance to the ministry. Thank you.
Now, we discovered that in schools, we have people coming for enrollment of their pupils. And like the government of the day, we want people who are out of school to be part of school. Some parents do come around with various excuses that we are going to also place we want our children to be enrolled in school. Now, I want to know, sir, that in this situation, what is the procedure for the admission of this new pupil transferring from one local government, even from one state to another? Some people complain that we are going from Osun State primary school. we are coming from Osun State, you want to enroll us in your school. So I want to ask her, that what's the procedure, including the payment of such parents for them to be admitted into our schools? Thank you, sir.
I want to appreciate the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Science and Technology for the good job, for the recognition and the honor. I want to say, like I said it before yesterday here, that we are all proud of you. And we are grateful to God that you are a gift to the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology at a time we are in. We know that one of the reasons why you have this array of success as they made public today is because of your sincerity of purpose, and by extension that of His Excellency to the education in the state. We will continue to ask that more effort should be put into what you are doing. It appears like today is a day of appeal. I will also want to join the appeal train by appealing through you to the state government to consider, how do I put it now, your commitment to education carrying along the private sector. In your speech, you made mention of teachers training and retraining to the extent of sending some abroad in the public sector. Considering the fact that the children in private schools are indigenes of Ogun State and His Excellency is the father of all, considering also that private school, if it is possible for us to draw the graph, will have significant effect in the IGR of the state. It therefore implies that our place when it comes to benefit and commitment, direct commitment, to serve as a pointer that of a truth our contributions are known and appreciated, that this gesture should also be extended to the private sector. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
The achievements that have been rolled out once again by the Honorable Commissioner has really shown that surely Ogun State will be there. We are moving towards that with all determination, with all our vigor. All stakeholders, everybody is saying Ogun State will surely get there. And we believe that God being on our side, this kind of determination we are putting in, that is already yielding fruit for us. You can see the fruit that is being yielded. I want to say that the introduction of technology has really taken us far in the education industry, and it is giving us the dividends that technology will surely bring for education. Synergy between technology, in fact, we cannot even separate technology from education. And so we are reaping the fruit already, and we are happy about it. And like I used to say, we have said this for a long time, that Ogun State is a great potential state, and is a state that you can be proud of anywhere, anytime. No matter the challenge you will be facing in this state is a state that has a lot of potentials. And because we have it, because we have all that it takes, you see, there are certain things that some people don't see about these great states. And that is why, even when we are in the midst of challenges, we are still on top. Even in the midst of challenges, a lot of states are envying us. And they will continue to envy Ogun State. Because Ogun State is not a cursed land, it's a blessed land. And when you are living in a state, or you are an indigene of a state, or you are a resident of a state that is blessed by God, nobody can cause such a state. And so the state will try over all the challenges, and we shall come out better. I have that optimistic view of this state. And that is why you will see that anchors, we always be optimistic. We deliberately choosing a slogan for ourselves, we shall get there. That's our slogan. And every time we focus on that, and God has been helping us. And I believe God will help all of us in the education industry. What Ogun State set on in the area of technology, that is the GSERA, through the GSERA, which the commissioner has informed us about all the pillars that is resting on. Some states have tried it, but they are not getting it. But because the key is with Ogun State, being the gateway state, we are getting it. And that is the difference. The difference that is clear. And I believe with this kind of determination we are putting into it, all our challenges will soon be a thing of the past. Number two, the Honorable Commissioner gave us fact that we have just 71% of the vacant results released. That is the overall percentage. We have listened to the breakdown in the different local governments, both public and private. But then, sir, once a result is released and it is not complete, the few ones that are affected will be the noise makers. So it would be better for us to wait and let the others be there so that we have a complete result released. It's just like when you go to a party. I love to use illustration just like this, the Honorable Commissioner too. I want to say that we should try as much as possible to see what we can do. Schools will be resuming in the upper week, not up to 2 weeks again. Monday, 19th of September. So that's just about 10 days time. Whatever we can do, I know so much effort have been put in. In fact, I really want to commend the effort of the Department of Curriculum Studies, because I know they are doing a lot of work. That's not the only department. Yes, it's a department that has some of their staff sleeping inside this place. Yes. Inside, I know about it. I was here at about 10:30 one day, and some of them are just arriving to come and see this. The news that we have the result of is not just an easy task. And I want to commend all teachers and principals in schools, because they cannot do that work without them. They are the ones feeding them with the materials they are using. And so many schools, the SPA, the teachers, the computer teachers, everybody, the teachers themselves who did the marking, they all worked to ensure that we have what we are having for the state. And that is why I continue to congratulate the Honorable Commissioner about that. So, sir, my suggestion is that we wait and ensure that the result is fully out so that we don't have a problem in that regard. And let us know if there are schools, if there are certain things that are still left undone from school's end, so that between now and resumption, such things can also be clear, so that we can have effective release of the result. Thank you. God bless you.
Is actually the one in charge of the skills sector of that project. It's a $250 million project for the World Bank. And for us, through it, we have 3 DLIs. The one for STEM teachers, training of STEM teachers. But that training will have started now. We are just trying to tidy up a particular contract papers to train 750 teachers of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Also, the same thing, the DLI 8, we have the rehabilitation of the technical colleges, which has led to the setting up of the Oxford State Technical Education Board, the rehabilitation of the technical colleges in our state, and the training of technical teachers and also part of it is also this industry exposure, which is also coming through EIZ and some other. But another was our teachers and technical colleges and our students. We want them to also have opportunity of going to the industry, not just theory. They go to the industry while they are in school, come back again and use that experience. You know, it will be a dual sort of training. So about 60 teachers have gone for the industrial experience. They have come back. Those who went to Germany, they have come back. Right, they are coming to give us their experience next week Tuesday. So the same thing for some others that have not mentioned. Somebody is saying that it's so something about standard, which has actually improved both at private school level and the public school level because of the things we are doing. The private school now are now running because the private schools see that the public seems to be doing so much. And if you are a private school now, people cannot see free school that is doing well and want to come and pay money. So they have to do more. So to surpass, so the standard is now going higher in both public and private schools. So let me answer the questions. At times, the Yoruba will say, "You only be able to do never pay a and they can take that. You don't know what that idea will be. Then, I want to assure you that the program we have started, people just hear Ogun teach. That teach, T-E-A-C-H, is a function that my own system is not correct. I'm just going to show you something. T stands for teaching, E stands for experience, A stands for acquisition, CH. That's why our teach is always using open. And then we have T, capital T, capital E, capital A, capital C, then small h. We want to form the word teach. Only romantic, you know. So we say Ogun teach because they are going to teach. So we start down to point that word, but it is actually a channel for acquisition of skills. Many of those people we are employed today, some have been left school since maybe 15 years ago. Some have been forgetting about what they were taught in school. So we don't want to just bring them in and just put them to the classroom and then they start fumbling. Maybe you take them about 3 or 4 years after Kandahari. After Kandahari, Kandahari is the head of the so we want them to come back. The whole project is supposed to be that when they come in, we put them under mentors. There will teachers that will actually mentor them, that will put them through, monitoring them. And if you don't tell them that, they won't give the best. We told them that at the end, some of you are going to be made permanent. Even, you see, in mathematics, we say something. If I say all is everybody. But if it is just one person that is maybe the other side of what I'm saying. If I say everybody in this class has 100 naira in his pockets, we will go around to find 100 naira in their pockets. If I say not everybody, it means there's no without. If I say all plus 1, that is clear to each person. Okay? Whereas, because of one person, I can say a statement is not correct. I can say not everybody, okay, almost everybody in this class has no 100 naira. I might just be one person. But the fact that we can get one person, I can no longer say all person. It may not be very clear to what I'm saying, but I'm just trying to let you know at times the way we put it. Now, if we tell them, just go and take it. At the end of 2 years, we put you in class permanent. They will just say, let me just go and mark stand there. Forget about that. I was like permanent. They will say, we are going to permanent some of you. So when we use the word some, it might even mean more all at times, but it might mean just one or two, and it can mean everybody. So some of you will be lucky at the end. Some can be everybody, but it can be some. It can be just one person to do. So, and you have to give that in the air so that there is something for them they are working towards. Banks will always give you target. They say, if you come and work in this place, you can get me 100 million in 1 month, I make you senior manager. You make it and say, okay, I make it, and they say, okay, you have a target, now 200. So I make the target. No, target is something that can never be met. You continue to look forward to it. So you want them to continue to be looking to what that they want to be there. So you have to convince us, convince the school, convince the mentors, convince the supervisors for them to stay. For us to say we want to bring more people into the system is because we know that there is shortage and we want to build that vacancy. Then 1,500 we are talking about, they are already part of it. What we did was to say, all those 1,005 go to the portal and to register on that portal because everything will be done through the portal. So on that portal, I want to tell you sir that 900 out of 1,005 went to the portal. The remaining 600 we don't know why you didn't go there, but I know the reason why you didn't go there. Some of them might have gotten jobs. Some of them might not be interested in things. So some of them have gotten better employment or whatever. So that's why we have been event. I told you it was announced. If you are still interested, go to the portal. But we are sure that those ones will not need to pass through the rigorous exercise of CBT. And we are giving them, most of them that were there, we are giving them. So when you still meet one person or the other that are not mistaken, it's going to come at another place like that. Until you take all 5,000, if they are not there, that's when you can say you are not given. So they are all there. Once they were on that person, and we have the intention of making the governor announced to them that he was very happy that they appreciated that effort and they are doing their best. As long as they continue to do well in those schools, because it's a teaching experience acquisition channel. If through that channel they acquire the experience they should acquire through the teaching experience acquisition channel, then they don't need to take any. It is the school that will recommend them. We already know because the vacancies are there. So it is better for us to take them than to go and take new people. So for us now, when everybody is going to come into teaching, it is better that we pass through that channel, get the experience and then move in. So that's what we are trying to do. So we are on the same page. Then I don't know whether you listen to the video or the television yesterday. The one and the yesterday or the Wednesday. The one for secondary was out. That is a transfer into secondary schools. So it's on TV and some other channels. Also, we work for primary schools. It should be out. This is already out. That the procedure is this: for transfer to schools, either within the state or they are coming from outside the state or they are coming from a private school or something. You go online, you get the form. 5,000 naira. You go online, fill the form, and then you bet. The schools that you can go to, obviously, we don't want a situation whereby the population will just be overbloated. So we are monitoring. So the schools that you can go to, you sleep there. And of course, we don't really allow transfer to the final classes. You cannot go to SS3. If you have to go to primary 6, that will be under special consideration that something to get as far as the environment secretary, the ministry to look at it and then be sure that this is a very maybe life-saving situation. There's no transfer to SS3 and people for SS3 yes to no transfer. So all these things are there on the video. They will continue to use the TV. I want to assure you. Just monitoring to be started. So there. But that's for transfer. Same thing for education. Nobody can educate from one place to the other. So we do come back. It's only through technology that all those are done. Then this is transfer into schools, particularly for those who enter primary 1 is on. Next week you will see us in the market. You will see us in the motor park. I will be there. I will wait for us. You see, last year we did it. It improved the enrollment. We want to encourage parents to bring their works to school. We don't want high incidence of out of school children in Osun State. And I'm sure Osun State is one of the leading states where better in terms of performance of the school, children that are in school. So the enrollment drive will be out next week. On Monday will be in Ebonyi, and I think on the Wednesday Monday will be in Ebonyi and Shagamu. On the Wednesday will be in Ilaro.
Where's the Ilaro, sir?
And then on Thursday we will be in Abeokuta to do the Rotterdam and Motor Parks and then the markets. Last appeal for consideration of private school for training and overseas training and so on. Well, we should continue to cooperate with the state. And what we want to ask questions, it is not punitive at all. We cannot afford to say we only face that their private state government give them approval to run schools. So if the state government comes out with a policy, even if they have anything against it, it's better to come and let us look at it and then agree. It is the best to say is that if I tell you this is your school, you don't want to be like that, then you have to go to another state. That is going to be detrimental either to public school sector or private. If we have school, your own the schools that you need are schools.
The state president of Nigeria Confederation visits the secondary schools outcomes in the state branch. Well, since we are involved, I want to say that what the Commission for Education has said or has rolled out is not the truth. It is the truth of the matter. You will discover that within a period of between May 22 and 2019 and the period of COVID-19 till date, so much happened. And that was because His Excellency has the mindset of ensuring that he does not leave the state the same way he met it. And that was why when they declared the industry came in to say that this area there is a need to attend to this seriously. And that's what he has been doing. And that's what you have from the National Education Board that ANCOPS has been doing a lot to assist this administration to ensure that we have results. And we're thanking God that we have the results.
What is your advice, or what do you have to say?
My advice,
people who think that His Excellency is not doing enough.
If you are not there, you cannot understand. It's only people that are directly involved that understand what was on ground and what has been done so far. So my own advice is this, that we should all be determined. We should all focus. We should all have that strong determination with us that Ogun State, we are going to get there. And surely by the grace of God, with all this determination, with all the efforts, you can see the effort. A lot of people are being commended for their input. You will discover that in no small time, Ogun State will be on top. And in the whole of the Southwest, you are going to see that Ogun State will emerge the best very soon. So let us just be focused. Let us all support and make sure that all the efforts yield desirable fruits.
Comrade Abiodun Akiama, the State Chairman, Nigerian Union of Teachers of the State.
Alright, we are here today for a press briefing on the giant side of the admission in the education sector. As a stakeholder in the education sector, what is your take on this?
Just like I have said earlier, inside here, my take has been so open. We were minded, we were uplifted. Our souls and spirits were uplifted. We have seen a development coming up during our era, during our time, and during the era of a governor that is having a listening ear, a governor that is having a focus, a governor that has a target for the people, the children, the students of his state, in order to make them better than the way he met them. So it has been a very a program that has elated us in the state.
So what is your advice now? Because some people think that they are not doing anything.
No, the government, nobody can say the government is not doing anything except non-entities. That's the way I put it. Because how can you say somebody in an office is not doing anything? He's doing something. It is only what comes to your tongue that you know, or what becomes of you that you know. You then know what that person is doing. Presently, I want to tell you, sir, that what we are having in Ogun State, I'm a stakeholder, and I believe that I want to see a reformed Ogun State as regards education sector. We want to see a better tomorrow. We want to begin to top the list of contestants, competitors everywhere. Everywhere we find ourselves as indigenous of Ogun State. It's a kudo, it's a credit, a highly scored card for our ability government.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Ademola, Commissioner in the Teaching Service Commission, and you can hear it yourself from the horse's mouth. Professor Arigbabu had shown clearly the stuff is being made as a professor, and you can see the doggedness of our principal, vested interest in education in the state. You can see how much was voted for education in the state. You can see flash of schools are springing up over 42 within the state, which means that the public school will compete even higher than the private school in the state and throughout the 36 states. So I am telling you, for what you have heard yourself, that the HEP, that is higher education potentials of our students in public schools, will be well above 80, 90 as this is ongoing. So we have capable hands on board, we have round pegs inside the round hole. But I assure you, better are yet to come. Ensure that Mr. Abiodun MFR comes back 2023 as the governor of this state, so that this good work that has begun will continue to go and Ogun State to be the best of all the states in the nation. You know, we have two states in this country, Ogun State and every other state. Thank you and God bless you.